Oh, hello there. I didn't hear you come in. Have a seat. Make yourself comfortable by the fire. Welcome to our tie-in episode to Birds of Prey and the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn. Before we get into another action-packed episode of Super Sons, I thought I would take a moment to deliver a public service announcement. In The Mask of Matches Malone, Season 2, Episode 17 of Batman Brave and the Bold, Gail Simone penned a song where the Birds of Prey make sexual innuendos about each of the superheroes. Speaking of which, I think this fire needs a bit more wood. I wanted you all to be aware of the episode so you can watch it after listening to this issue of Super Sons. Take care, and without further ado, I give you issue 34 of Super Sons.
It's a bird, it's a plane, no, it's the Super Sons!
And welcome back for another action-packed episode. Just a reminder before this episode begins that DC's Crimes of Passion Holiday Anthology will be out the same day this episode is, so go to your local comic shop or whatever site you get your comics from and buy an issue. It is absolutely going to be worth it. Every single one of these has been a blast. Our last episode featured one of the writers for the Batman story, Jordan Clark,
who will be at my local comic book shop, Third Eye Comics, this Saturday. So if you're in the Annapolis or anywhere in Maryland, go there. At any time, not just on Saturday, but every single day.
All day, every day. So, if you haven't figured it out yet, there is bigger DC news, and this Friday, The Birds of Prey and the Emancipation of One Harley Quinn opens in theaters. Technically, it opens Thursday because I have tickets at 6, but the movie's finally out. So, we wanted to give you a little bit of a crash course on some of the characters that will be in it, or more so, the team that it is based upon.
Yep.
The Birds of Prey. So, the Birds of Prey first appeared in Black Canary and Oracle, Birds of Prey #1 in June 1996. The creators are Jordan B. Gorfinkel and Chuck Dixon. Jake, you want to tell us a little bit about Oracle?
All right. Barbara Gordon, the sometimes first Batgirl, after being paralyzed by the Joker, she knew her days as Batgirl were over. So, she created a network of information that outshined even Batman. She became the eyes and ears for almost the entire DCU with her information gathering skills and her photographic memory.
The movie also features actually, it doesn't also feature Oracle is not in the movie from what we know, but she is a huge part of the Birds of Prey as a team in comics. So if you're looking to pick up any of the books, you are going to want to know who Oracle is. One of the characters that is in the movie, though, is the Black Canary. Dinah Lance, the daughter of the first Black Canary, is a metahuman vigilante. She was trained under the watchful eye of Wildcat before taking up her mother's mantle. She possesses the Canary Cry, which is a high-powered sonic attack that has been shown to shatter even metal with its power. Also, my dog's named after her.
All right, then there's Huntress. Helena Bertinelli, often referred to as a mafia princess, is the daughter of the Bertinelli crime family. We talked about her in the question episode for a bit. Her mother was murdered by her lover, who put a hit out on her after she stayed with her abusive husband. Helena was spared because she was his child. She was sent to live in Italy with her family. Now she's a vigilante in Gotham with her trusty crossbow.
So 2 characters we're not covering in this episode are Renee Montoya, the second question, a police officer in Gotham City, and in the movie, the reason we're not covering her is we talked about her a little bit in the Batwoman episode, and we will probably cover her in the near future. She's just not in this story. And Cassandra Cain, another Batgirl, but the movie adaptation looks a little bit different from the comics, so I don't want to give you any pre-thoughts about her, just because it may be very different from what we've seen. Still looks incredible. So, we really just wanted to cover the first arc of Gail Simone's character-defining run, which has been said to be very highly influential on the movie. I've seen her talking with the actors a lot on Twitter, and she's been to the set, and I think she helped on a scene or two. But we're finally getting... Is this our first Gail Simone story?
I think so.
Gail Simone's
It's definitely not the first
incredible.
one either of us of the read.
No, not at all. Gail Simone is
Wonderful.
fantastic.
Just wonderful.
So the story we're talking about is called Of Like Minds. The creative team, if you haven't figured that out by now, was written by Gail Simone. The pencils by Ed Benz, inks by Alex Lee, colors by Hi-Fi. And Hi-Fi is a company, isn't it? I don't think it's one person.
I have
looking
no
into that a little
idea.
bit. Letters by John E. Workman. I don't think we've done anything lettered by him, but we'll talk about the letters in the end because they're very, very good. Issue 1. Andrew Fisher, the head of the third largest farming conglomerate, is waiting for a tow truck in the pouring rain before he accepts a ride with a stranger who he sees is wearing fishnets, which, entices him to get in the car with a complete and utter stranger. Bad move, though, because when the driver shows her glowing yellow eyes and reveals to him that she knows exactly who he is, he starts to panic. She actually knows that he's about to commit some shitty deeds and is planning to liquidate all of his company's assets, including employees in the employees' retirement funds. Turns out he's being blackmailed and hadn't committed any real crime yet, so the Spectre gives him another chance with a warning. After picking up some Italian from the new place across the street, Black Canary returns to the Oracle for a debriefing. The woman in the car was the Black Canary, wearing these shiny yellow contact lenses because they knew that Andrew Fisher was afraid of metahumans. Oracle comments that she still has the glowing contacts in her eyes, which Canary goes, "Oh shit," and realizes that that's why everyone in the restaurant was staring at her. Canary starts to pose a question to Babs about if having all the information on everyone is right. Like, is her network really just in all the information that she has? And is it really right when she has so many secrets of her own? Barbara quotes my boy Ben Franklin and says that saving so many lives is worth the information that she's been collecting. The heavy philosophical debate is undercut with the food being so good that it literally knocks Canary on her ass. Gail is very good at interactions between characters and dialogue. Everything flows so humanly, and it feels like so real.
It's always nice when she brings in food to her. I mean, what is it that Catman only can make? Is eggs, right? Yeah, he can only make eggs.
Yeah, it's kind of a human element of all of her stories, and it's just delightful. The fun is stopped when Oracle gets an alert that Fisher is typing a suicide note on his computer. Canary rushes to stop him while the Oracle messages him to try and buy her time. Turns out it's actually a trap set by Savant, a villain who specializes in extortion. The ambush is successful and they capture Canary so they can use Oracle for their evil deeds.
Man, there was some weird crimes that these men committed in that first issue, just based on your reading, like Andrew licking people.
Yeah, they're weird.
All right, so issue 2. Savant has an inferiority complex, which you find out as we see a vision of Batman saying that he's isn't morally equipped for this job. And that comes up a few more times. But Mr. Fisher is also being blackmailed by Savant, who has his family held hostage. The captors have damaged Canary's vocal cords and have bound her to her bed, so she's nearly defenseless. How do you feel about Savant?
Savant is super creepy. And side note, I was on Agents of Comic Book a couple weeks ago, and I got them to watch Suicide Squad and read the first arc of Suicide Squad from the New 52. Savant is in that, and he gets killed in the first couple pages. So, a fun little story.
Yes, I saw someone saying that you were making them read.
Yep.
All right, so Savant is testing Oracle, basically measuring his own intelligence, and he kind of wants to know who Batman is.
Yeah, he's just kind of like sauntering around like, oh, look at me, I can speak all these languages and I'm so smart.
My favorite part is when she's like, yeah, like most of the languages he was speaking with are, okay, but I mean his Greek.
Yeah.
But so Oracle contracts the Huntress, who is busy on her own mission right now. Oracle helps in exchange for assistance in locating and rescuing Canary. Huntress saves a baby who she claims smells really good.
Yeah, it's just a weird thing I wanted to put in the script because she saves this baby from someone who's not well. And she's like, this baby smells really good. And I was like, all right, it's in the script.
See, I've heard people say that before.
That baby smell good?
Yeah, like that baby smell.
Oh, baby smells like poop.
Yeah. Who knows?
I don't know about you, but I'm gonna talk about this for a second. I'm not a fan of holding babies. Like, it's a lot of responsibility, and it just scares the living shit out of me.
I mean, Dan, they do have a detonation button.
Yeah, I don't want to hold one. It's a lot of commitment and like it's a lot of trust, and I just
then there's a soft spot on their head.
Yeah, it just makes me anxious.
It's a lot.
All right, you can continue though. Sorry,
sorry guys. It's
one
fine.
Of my fears.
It's fine. It's fine. He also doesn't like paper cuts, so don't get near him with babies or a sheet of paper
or bees. I'm allergic to bees. So those three things are very deadly. If you had a baby bee that was its stinger was just a piece of paper, that's my kryptonite.
All right, Oracle's very worried about Dinah because she has always been there for her, so she doesn't want to let her down. Dinah tries to flirt with Savant's henchman to let her go, but he's not fazed by that. And I don't think you mentioned it in the script.
I had it in there originally, but it didn't really matter to the story. I forgot to take out this other part. Later in the story, Canary's like, so does Savant know you're in love with him? And he's like, how did you know?
No, he's like, no, he does not.
Oh, yeah.
They're just cool about it. They're like, just curious.
Yeah, and then, yeah.
It just shows how actually clueless Savant is.
Yeah, Savant sucks. Issue 3. We get a little bit of background on Canary's training throughout the years. She learned Shirtei with Sensei Otomo. Otomo, thank you. Who she left because he wasn't pushing her hard enough because he was afraid to hurt her in training. The next training we see was her sparring with Lady Shiva, who's one of the deadliest fighters in the DC universe, who, didn't care about her well-being, so she pushed her as hard as she could because a Canary knew if she missed a block, she'd be dead. Lady Shiva is one of the most deadly foes in the DCU, right?
Yes. Pretty much anyone who Dennis O'Neil has written or created is considered the deadliest people. So the original Richard Dragon.
That's such a big dick move, honestly. Just like,
oh yeah. He also had Bronze Tiger, and I don't know if he created Bronze Tiger. I do know he was in the Richard Dragon series. And I know Lady Shiva started in the Richard Dragon series. Yeah,
but think about that. Like, if you're a writer, you could just say this person's the best at everything, and like, who's going to stop you?
No one, because they do that with Batman all the time.
Yeah, Batgod. I mean, who's going to be able to edit Morrison? Like, who could stop him? But back to the story. We get a little bit of Savant's backstory about how he wanted to be a hero, but during a outing, Batman gave him a verbal beatdown about his morals and how his priorities weren't in order. He went to beat up some arsonists before actually saving anyone from a burning building. You know what? We've actually been through this. This exact one where Batman... Well, you haven't. I got my ass kicked by Batman.
Yeah.
Huntress gets the information on the kidnappers and their car in exchange for going out on a date with a Weasley car salesman who has the information that she's needing. This scene isn't creepy at, like, it's not this guy's Weasley, but it's like it's a very funny scene and not. This could be a very weird scene if it wasn't Gail writing it. Like, she has such a humor to all of this kind of stuff. The characters are, I don't know how to describe it. They're not like. they're sexual characters, but they're not sexualized. Like
They're humans.
They're humans. Like she gives them all of that. Like they still have these costumes that they've had forever, but
they have agency. They maintain their agency throughout it.
There you go. Yeah. Gail is very good, just in general. So Savant starts to threaten to cut Canary unless she reveals... Oh, did I skip one? Oh, sorry. Savant gets all pissy when Oracle can keep up with his measuring contest, and she actually besses him in a verbal sparring match. He then kind of storms upstairs like a grumpy toddler and threatens Mr. Fisher and reveals accidentally where he's hidden his family. Savant bursts into the Canary's cage and starts to threaten her with a knife, saying that she needs to reveal Oracle's identity before he's interrupted by Andrew Fisher, who's brought some warm tea because how can she sing when she has a sore throat? Turns out the tea was actually just holding a bird-shaped communicator she needed to call Oracle. All the pieces begin to fall into place when Canary breaks her wrist bonds, but she realizes that she has 2 large casts on her legs, so she can't actually walk down the stairs, which makes it sort of an issue to get out. Huntress arrives on the scene by driving her fucking motorcycle through the front door. Now, both Canary and Huntress will have to fight to finish their mission.
All right. So, the 4th issue. Canary is stuck in the room with Savant because with the large locked leg casts.
Yeah, I don't really know what they are.
They're just big leg casts.
Like metal casts? Like, why does he have those just laying around? Did he get those specially made?
I don't know.
Savant stuff.
But she's in the Huntress is bad. My God, that was a tongue twister though. Large locked leg casts.
Yep.
She's in as Huntress is battling with Savant's henchmen downstairs in the kitchen. Fisher is searching the basement to find the entrance to the wine cellar where his family is held. Using all of the smarts that Savant has flaunted in front of Oracle, she uses it to backtrack him to his real identity and his crimes. So
your inflection as you're reading this just keeps going up, so it sounds like you're getting initially just like more and more excited. Using all the smarts that Savant is flaunted in front of the Oracle. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel you. It's been a long day, dude.
It's just funny because every sentence is like, Canary is stuck with the room of Savant.
Yep.
It's fine. You're just excited as you read the sentences.
Well, I read fast. That's probably why I stammer sometimes. But, alright. Yeah, so it turns out Savant's just a rich boy who kind of took a bunch of like karate lessons and a bunch of other stuff and kept failing at a bunch of stuff. Like the Olympics, school, rich people stuff. All I can hear from outside of my room right now is just glasses. I thought they were breaking. Plates.
Mom's just out in the kitchen smashing glasses.
Yeah. She's got a rage going.
She just wants to be on the podcast that bad.
Yeah. Canary slides down the banister to escape Savant, only to be caught at the bottom after getting his family.
Save that part. Save the end of that.
What?
The banister.
Canary slides down the banister to escape Savant, only to be caught at the bottom. What you wanted to hear?
No,
is that what you wanted to hear from me?
There's a part of that scene that I like, but I'll talk about it later.
After getting his family to safety, Fisher goes back to help Canary because she had given him a second chance and he betrayed her. Which, I mean, can you really blame him? His family was in danger.
Yeah, but he's still doing, like, she gave him a second chance to be good, and he's like, okay, I have to be good and go back and save these people who need my help.
Yeah. Oracle starts broadcasting Savant's, aka Brian's. Oh, wait, no, I skipped one, didn't I?
Now, Canary and Huntress have their backs against a wall. Actually, it's a fireplace, because they cannot take both of them in a fight. But suddenly, every phone in the house starts to ring.
Oracle starts broadcasting Savant, aka Brian's life story, as he's an entitled heir who has never finished anything. After his father learned about his blackmailing thing, he was cut off entirely. When he threatens to kill Oracle's partners, she says that it would give her enough time to erase every file he has on anyone. And for Savant has a problem with his memory, so I guess that would be a big problem for him. As Huntress and the henchmen go back to fighting, Fisher lights his ponytail on fire to distract him before Huntress knocks him out. Dinah retrieves a disk backup of all the files that could solve a ton of cases, but asks if Oracle really wants to use all this illegal information to play judge, jury, and
Oh, I said prosecutioner. That's not even spelled correctly. I don't know what that word is. Processioner? Did I say processioner instead of executioner? Continue, though.
Without due process, Oracle says she'll burn it, which Dinah already did. But we left with the cliffhanger that Oracle already had all the information.
That word doesn't exist, and Google Sheets is not telling me to correct it, so I'm just going to say I created a word. But yeah, that's pretty much
Hold on. No. You can't just go off on saying, "Oh, I created a word," and not read that word out loud.
Process tenor. Process tenor? Proceed tenor? I don't know. It's not a real word. I've made it up, and it actually just means the best DC podcast out there, who is horribly...
we can't read, guys.
Yeah, we're not very good.
We told you this before. We read comics for the pictures. It's been a long time since we brought it up, but we are illiterate.
And we really just want people to read comic books, and that's why we do this. We're not. No one ever said we're good at it. We just try our best. So, my favorite panel of this story happens in the beginning when Canary literally falls on her ass over eating the shrimp from the Italian restaurant, because I know that feeling when good food is good. She follows it up with a quote, which is also my favorite quote. "If I had 2 bites of those every day, I'd never need another man."
All right, my favorite panel and favorite moment are pretty much the same part. The guy handing Canary the food, and he's looking at her what's wrong with your eyes? And then when she realizes that why they were looking at her weird. And my favorite quote is from Canary saying, "Honey, I'm home."
Yeah, they're great. My favorite moment is actually when she's sliding down the banister and she's like, "Please don't be anything sharp at the bottom. Please don't be anything sharp at the bottom." And then there is. And she just kind of has to grip the banister to hope that she doesn't run into it. Which is when I was younger, I had this friend who had a really cool house with one of those big banisters, and everyone would slide down the banister. But, I didn't, because I was like, there's a big ball at the end of that banister. What if I don't get off in time? And then I'm done. Game over. That's it.
I don't know who you're talking about.
One of my friends from when I was at my dad's. He lived on his house was beautiful. It was right on the water in Riverside, overlooking Philly. I mean, unless people are listening from the area, they don't know where that is. But something I did want to talk about is the lettering for the characters' inner monologues. Each of them has their own unique speech bubbles. Canary has a regular legal pad scratch paper, which is awesome. Oracle's is a text box for a computer, and then Huntress has something. I want to say it's purple, but each of them has their own thing, so you know who's inner monologuing. I think lettering is very underappreciated, and something like that is really cool. We'll throw up some pictures of the lettering in the boxes too, just so people can check them out. But before we go, we're going to give you 3 suggested readings for these characters and the others who weren't in the story. So for Canary, I suggest Justice League Year One, just because it is one of my favorite stories, written by Mark Waid. There is Green Arrow and Black Canary Wedding Special. Actually, we didn't even mention Green Arrow, did we?
No.
Black Canary and Green Arrow are an item. If you didn't know that, now you know. The show Arrow did not get that right. And Gail Simone.
What are you talking about, Dan? Well, hold on. What are you talking about? Felicity Smoke, man.
Yeah,
you know,
Gail Simone,
the character that started out as Ronnie Raymond's stepmother in the comic books.
She dunks on Felicity all the time. It's great. For Huntress, we suggest Batman Huntress Cry for Blood. The Rebirth Birds of Prey has her on the team.
She's also in Grayson.
Yeah, Grayson. Renee Montoya, we suggest GCPD or 52, which is the story where she becomes the Question. For Oracle, honestly, any of the Birds of Prey before the new 52. The Batgirl run with Cass Kane or the Batgirl run with Stephanie Brown. For Cassandra Cain, her Batgirl run or Batman and Robin Eternal is a good one.
Or if you want to see her being bestest friends with Clayface, Rebirth Detective Comics.
Yeah. We are covering Cassandra later in the year, as well as my favorite Stephanie. But go out and see the Birds of Prey and the Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. The name is such a mouthful.
Yeah, but it's got Ewan McGregor in it, so...
It does. I'm so excited for that.
God, I love Ewan McGregor.
Jake, what comics are you reading recently?
Still on the Booster Gold kick, but I'm doing some... I'm taking some peeks at the other side's comic books on the Marvel Unlimited app. I'm kind of,
I mean, I guess I'm reading some balance.
Yeah, no, I'm finally going to read West Coast Avengers.
Is all of it on there?
I think so.
That's a good. I only read the first couple issues.
I also know that
all of them.
The House of X just got added on there for the first issue.
The Hawks and the Pox is coming.
Yep.
You're very far behind on all that.
Yeah.
This is going to be a really short episode. Is there anything you want to talk about? Oh, what I'm reading. Jonah fucking Hex. So I read a couple issues of this before I go to sleep every night.
He dreams of cowboys.
Yeah, I've never been... So, caveat, my favorite game of all time is Red Dead Redemption / Elder Scrolls Oblivion. But I've never seen just a straight up cowboy movie. Ever. Like, I've never just watched one. Like, none of the Clint Eastwoods, nothing.
Not even, I guess you count Django
I'm not
Unchained.
counting... Yeah, I guess I can count that.
Yeah,
but,
you can count that.
I'm talking about the spaghetti westerns. I also don't count Wild Wild West. I'm talking like the classic Clint Eastwood, all that kind of stuff. I never watched any of them, but these stories are so good. Every issue is its own story so far. There's a couple of 2-parters and 3-parters, which is fine, but having like a one-off story structure is awesome. Just because I can read one and then be done. Like, I don't have to be like, oh, what's going to happen in the next issue? Just having some more self-contained stories is a cool thing. Also, Jonah Hex is just a super interesting curmudgeon. He doesn't want anyone to come near him.
I really just want to know how he ended up in the future.
He's ended up in the future a few times, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think so. Like, I know the whole series Hex, he's in the future, because that's a nuclear conflict, like, apocalypse story that's mentioned a lot in Booster Gold.
That's before... Who was writing him at that point? Not Palmiotti.
No. This was...
That's old. That's like 80s, old. Isn't it? Yeah.
It might be 70s or 80s. I think it's 80s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, join us in 2 weeks when we cover Our Man and Liberty Bell. Yep. Is that who you wanted to do? Yeah.
Yep.
Jake and I will be guest starring on another podcast. I don't want to talk about it yet just because I don't know when the episode comes out. But you know where to find us. We are on Twitter at DC Super Sons. You can find us on the Facebook at Super Sons. Our website is supersunspod.com, which is now back up. My B. And then our Patreon is patreon.com/supersons.
And Dan, where can they find you specifically?
Me, I am at Dan the McMahon on Twitter. Or my home address is... Just kidding. On our first recording of...
And I finally have a Twitter.
Jake, what is your Twitter handle?
Oh, it's Jake Licks Otters.
I'll link that in the show description. So, what was I going to say? In the first episode of the James Bond podcast, that Mike and I are doing, I gave out my phone number. I was like, I don't give a fuck. Listen, if someone listened to this and wanted enough to send me a text message or call me, go ahead. I don't even care. I get so many weird calls all the time. I just kind of roll with it. Everything's weird.
I mean, they finally started sending out giving alerts to spam calls. You know.
Yeah. It's weird because like it'll go straight to voicemail. Yeah. But that is our show for today. Catch us in the same bat time, same bat channel. Thanks for listening.